Hey, good evening. How's it going? It's Wednesday again. Let me adjust this. I think it's turned funny. Okay. How's everyone doing? You okay? How are you holding up? What's happening? Hope you're doing well. It's been, can I ask before I go in? Crazy question. Who else is finding that they're piling on the pounds as we're all home? Seriously, I was doing a dance today and I realized, there's a bit more jiggly bits today. So definitely the staying home business. It's having an impact. I am missing so the school run that I would do, that's like a whole hour of walking that's gone, because I would like walk 15 minutes to get there, 10-15 minutes back in the morning, and then same again in the afternoon or evening, depending on when I'm picking him up. So that is a real loss, guys. That is a real loss. Okay, rant over. How's everyone doing today? If you come on live while I'm here, say hi. Let me know that you are here. If you watch it on replay, comment replay so I know when you're seeing it as well. I know that a few of you have been doing it, so that's awesome. It really lets me know sort of when people are watching and when's a good time. Also, I've not asked this for a while. Let me know where you're watching from. I know we're all home right now. Let me know where you are watching from while I share this thing. Let's see, will it let me share it? I'm checking on my screen. Do you know what it's doing? It's translating it. That's hilarious. Okay, so let's share this to my timeline. Cool. Share it to timeline. Let's share it to friends. There we go. Cool. So we've done that. Excellent. Okay. Good. Anyway, hope you're well. And I know I've been sort of dilly-dallying a bit. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Trust, and this is Trust and Money TV. I come on live on Wednesdays, and I speak about personal finance because I'm a budget coach to professional women who are looking to keep hold of more of their money and teaching them how to do that through budgeting. So women who've not had a budget before, who've never created one, it scares them, all of that, sort of coach them through it. That's what I do. And actually, this Sunday at 8 o'clock, I am doing a free live budget workshop where I literally talk you through what I do. I have a private group for that so that people are free to, be a bit more open and we do it together. So if you want in on that, let me know, comment below and say live budget. Yeah, live budget, and I will have you added onto that workshop or that group so you can come in and do that. Okay, last thing, if you watch this on YouTube, I'm rambling today. If you watch this on YouTube, subscribe as well, comment, let me know. That's why you're watching it. Okay, I'm gonna get into it. So today I thought I'll share some of the books that I've read over the years that have had an impact on me, not just from a financial point of view, but from a personal development point of view as well, because we're all home and there's a million and one ideas of things we could be doing with our time and all of that. And reading, learning, it's something that's not just for now, but sort of a continuous thing that's going to really make an impact. I believe if you're not learning, you're really not doing yourself a service, really. It doesn't have to be about this. It just has to be, something that's you're interested in, or something that is going to be beneficial for you. And we could all do better, myself included. Before I get into the books that I have here, bit of a trivia. The first time I bought, just looking, that's a comment for me. Say hi when you come on. I could see some people come on, but I can't tell who they are because Facebook, I don't know what Facebook's doing these days. not very good. I'm telling you who's watching live and stuff like that. So say hi when you come so I know you're here. So a little trivia. The very first book that I bought, so all of these books that I'm going to talk about are books that I bought with my money. So the very first book I bought with my money, this was back in Nigeria. I must have been maybe around 17. And it's a book called Why You Act the Way You Do by Tim LaHaye. Who knows that book? Who's read that book? Comment below. That was, I guess, my first foray into, let me understand myself a little bit more type of thing. So yeah, and it sort of talked through, that was my first introduction into like the 4 personality types. Which from then on I've read other books that have described it in different ways, but that was my first introduction into stuff like that, and trying to understand how the sort of person you are, or your personality type impacts on how you handle things in different areas of your life. And that was quite eye-opening for my 17-year-old brain. That was fascinating. So let me know, comment, what was the first book that you bought for yourself? And the first book you bought for it, you paid for it, and what was it called, who wrote it, and what did you take from it? I want to know. Okay, cool. So that I'm not the only one just sitting here sharing stuff. Okay, so the first book I wanted to talk about today, which was the first book I bought, I guess, when I moved to the UK. It's a book called First Steps to Wealth. It's written by a lady called Dani Johnson. I discovered Dani in my late teens, so around maybe 1920, and oh my goodness, I spent so many years consuming everything from Dani. Watched so many of her videos. She is a lady who lives in the US. So I think has 5 kids, the stuff that you need to know, obviously. And she had an approach to money and her life that was really sort of in the long term, and she really introduced me to a lot of different concepts, a lot of different ideas, and so I was keen to get this one. This book, the way I'll describe it, is like it's like a bit of everything kind of book. So just sort of taking you through tips, strategies, principles for being wealthy overall. Yes, money is a huge part of that. Who knows Dani, by the way? Who's listening to Dani? Who know Dani? I know that I've spoken to friends about Dani. I have bought a parenting course from Dani as well. So yeah, for a huge part of the late teens, early 20s, she was someone that I was really listening to, because she has quite a story as well. She grew up on welfare, which I guess like the benefit system like you have it here, and so had childhood and abusive father, and just not a very nice sort of upbringing, and went through some really, really dark times as well, name it, drugs, teen pregnancy, the whole lot, and turning that around, and pretty much how she did that and the principles that helped with that, I was really sort of captivated. And it sort of goes through the whole thing, whether you're someone that's working for yourself or someone who's employed, principles and ideas to make you sort of excel at that in every area of your life. So this is one that I have kept even as I've moved house so many times. This is one book that I'm glad I bought. And that I actually have a paper copy of it, so it's come with me to a lot of places. So that's the first one. Let's see if I can see any comments. I can see your hearts, your likes, so keep doing that. The first one on my list. The next one on my list is a bit different. So this one is Conversations with Millionaires. We probably can't see it because of the way it's turned. It's going to be showing you left to right, isn't it? This one is a different structure. So this book is a combination of interviews. Oh, actually, no, scrap that. This is not working out. I dug in some sections that I wanted to read for you. Oh my goodness, lockdown's killing me, man. My brain's not working properly. I wanted to read out just a small section from each book. So for the First Steps to Wealth book, there was a section that I highlight. If you see, I have highlights all over the thing. Like I've been over it. There's like pink highlights, so many places, blue highlights, you name it. I've been over this stuff. So this portion I wanted to read, page 117. Let's see. Talking about if you're someone who owns your business, this section here said, wealthy entrepreneurs build their wealth by being long-term thinkers, while employees work to spend. Adopt the mindset of a successful entrepreneur who use their workplace to build their wealth. You are the one income producing asset you have. And since your job is where you produce the income, do what you can to increase your value. So instead of pulling in together, whether you're working for yourself or you're working for someone else, you yourself, you are the asset. Increase your value, invest in yourself. And just it sort of ties back to, I think, a comment that I made maybe in my last video or the one before that. If you're working for someone right now, you want to make yourself as irreplaceable as possible. A comment here said, do not think of your work as just a job, something that you have to do. Think of it as you're a partner on a team and you want that team to be successful, so that you become that person that you're not the first to be let go, and when it's time to bring people back, you want to be one of the first people to bring back. So that's just a snippet there, but yeah, lots there. Okay, I'm gonna leave that one. Book number 2, Conversations with Millionaires. So like I said, the structure is a bit different. So it's interviews with a lot of people. Some of them you might know, some of them you may not know. And so it's Jim Rohn, who I hope you know about him. If not, it's definitely someone to look into. Has some really, timeless advice on that, really making an impact and creating an impact and becoming the most developed version of yourself and financial independence and stuff like that. So these 2 guys who wrote this book, they basically interviewed each of these people for an hour and just transcribed it. So that way you're getting a lot of value from reading it. So you're hearing from a lot of different people. So let me see, what have I picked out here that I want to talk about? So this is something that a lot of the time when we think about money, for some of us that come from a background where we want to be humble, we want to be giving, and it's realizing that having wealth doesn't, you can be a good person. So I'm going to read this a little bit here. So it says, set a goal to become a millionaire for what it makes of you to achieve it. So who you're becoming in the process. So it says, do it for the skills that you have to learn, the person you have to become. Do it for what you end up knowing about the marketplace, what you learn about the management of time, of working with people. Do it for the ability of discovering how to keep your ego in check, for what you have to learn about being benevolent, being kind, as well as being strong. What you have to learn about society and business and government and taxes, and becoming an accomplished person to reach that status. So, finally, all that you have learned and all that you've become to reach that status is what's valuable, not the $1 million, which is something that I completely agree with. Money on its own, it's not pretty. It's what you're going to do with it, and as well as who you're going to become in the process. And so that was one. Another lady on here, well, not another lady, this is one lady. Her name's Sharon Lecter, Who has heard of the book Rich Dad Poor Dad? Like, who hasn't heard of that? I'm sure we've all heard of that. It's one of those ones again that really made an impact for me. So Sharon is one of the co-authors of that. I mean, we all know of Robert Kiyosaki, but Sharon was quite involved in that as well. And this section from her that I want to cover is the bit about passive income, which is one of my favorite things. And so she kind of defines that. So we have here Sharon here. So let's talk about I'm reading now. Let's talk about the different kinds of income you can make. You can make earned income, or you can make passive income, and you can make portfolio income. Who knew there's that many types of income? So earned income is what we all hear about. That's a job, that's a paycheck, that's money that you receive through your own hard work, your labor as an employee or as a self-employed person. That's earned income. But it's very hard to get rich when your income is based on personal efforts. You only have so many hours in the day. You only have so many days in the week. So passive and portfolio income come from assets. The rich know how to convert their earned income, if they have it, into assets that will generate passive and portfolio income, so that they have their money work hard for them instead of them working hard for money. So yeah. So again, reading this, I bought this many years ago now. Reading this in my young mind, that was something that guess really made an impact, hearing from a woman as well doing that, because sometimes the financial world can be male dominated. Nothing against men, but that's just the way it is. So reading that from a woman and the stories and what's possible, that was something else that made a difference. So a different style from the first one. Lots of interviews. Okay, the next one on my list, I don't actually have a hard copy. I have this in Kindle format, and this is, let's find it, The Richest Man in Babylon, one of my favorite books. Oh, I'm getting likes. Someone knows it, maybe. Do you know it? Have you read it? Hi, Karina, are you going to watch from the start? No worries. I want to hear what's your first book that you bought for yourself? Let's hear about it. Okay, I'm not going to play it. So Richest Man in Babylon, it's set like, it's like a story. It's like fiction set in ancient Babylon, and just going through it as if it was the story of a man. It's such vivid pictures. I was listening to the audiobook, but it has like really core principles, key principles for money. I would definitely recommend that one. Let's see. I might not be able to read a section for you on this one because it's not coming up, but seriously, really great book. It's almost like a movie. Like, it can put you in that place of, you know, like you were there, and seeing how you develop and sowing the seeds of what are the principles for, you know, not spending all you make, investment, being creative in terms of seeing opportunities, investing in them, that age-old principle of you need to be feeling a need. Every business that's successful, it's someone that is seeing something that people need and providing it to them. So those sort of principles, it's fascinating to read. So it's Richest Man in Babylon. It's by George Clason. Yeah, let's see. This is why sometimes you need a paper book, right? Because there's just nothing like grabbing a piece of paper and reading it. Who is like that? Who prefers paper books than all this electronic stuff? Show yourself. Show yourself. Let's know you are here. Okay, so that was book number 3. I didn't read anyone from that one. I would definitely recommend it. It's quite a short one as well, so it's quite easy to run that, to complete it. The last one I'm going to talk about is from someone that is like definitely in my life right now. She is a business coach. So the book is called Miss Moneybags. It's by a lady called Michelle Stonehill. who I'm currently sort of getting business coaching from. So this, I guess, from all the books, okay, this is the most recent. Okay, all but the most recent. So it's the story of a woman, here in Britain, finally, because we don't often, all of the ones that I've talked about are from people based in the US. So this is from a lady here in Britain, and just her journey through, from growing up being in the, I guess, normal corporate world, and like we all, like most of us start out from, moving into being in business for herself and leveraging that, building that into something that now gives her a lot of time freedom and the freedom to decide how she wants her day to look. And she's only early 30s, so that's fantastic. So it's just a journey through that, and general principles and things that she's implemented and put together to get to that point. So for this one, oh my gosh, I'm yapping. What I want to do is read a section with a story scenario of two people, because I thought it was quite powerful. So this is from Miss Moneybags by Michelle Stonehill. This is page 1564. So, scenario 1. Meet Jane. Jane was told by her parents to get a good job, get on the property ladder, and save every month. Being the good girl that she is, she went to university, studied hard, got a great job with a great income, and bought her first home at age 22 with a deposit of £15,000. She took out a mortgage on that house and lived there for 5 years. When she decided to move into a bigger home to start her family, she had around £50,000 in equity. Great! She used that as a nice deposit for her new home and entered into another mortgage agreement for the rest across 30 years. Jane works very hard in her job and gets paid £3,000 per month for that work. Her mortgage is £750 per month. So after she has paid that, along with her other bills, and allocated some money to go out and have fun, she's able to save around 10% of her income. So that's around £300 a month. Fast forward 30 years, Jane is 57 and mortgage free. She has spent 30 years working long hours to pay the bills and save, but she's done it. She's now wealthy, right? That's why her parents told her to do it, right? Wrong. She has saved £300 a month religiously for 30 years, and so she has a nest egg of £120,000 in saving, if you add a generous amount for interest. And she has no mortgage. But is she wealthy and able to now give up work and live the life she deserves after 30 years of graft? Well, the population is living longer and longer. So at 57, she's probably only halfway through her life. So let's say she lives until the age of 87. So she needs to sustain herself financially for another 30 years. The £120,000 she has saved will give her around £333 per month to live on. It's not enough. So Jane decides to downsize her home to generate more cash. This gives her another £150,000, so that's £416 per month. And let's not forget her pension. The average pension pot in the UK for women is around £105,000, providing you have been contributing towards it every month for a number of years. So best case scenario, Jane has another £291 per month from that. So total income for Jane is just over £1,000 per month to have a great life. So to summarize, Jane gives the best years of her life to a job, pays off her biggest asset, her house, and retires on £260 per week. Sounds like fun? Not. Where do I sign up for that? So that's scenario 1. Scenario 2, meet Laura. Laura isn't very academic, but she's super savvy. She reads self-development books and studies how wealthy people use their money. Laura also works a job that pays her, I'm swaying, aren't I? That pays her £3,000 per month. Laura puts her £15,000 deposit into an interest-only mortgage on a property to rent out. Her mortgage is £300 a month, and she receives £600 rent, so an income of £300 comes in from that property. She has some expenses, of course, and puts away some for repairs, and so is left with £150 after that. She saves that along with 10% of her income, so a total of £450 saved every month. Every couple of years, Laura uses her saving and equity by remortgaging to buy another house. So in 20 years, she has a property portfolio of 10 properties. So it is no longer a requirement from the bank that she needs a deposit to lend. And she earns a passive income of £1,500 from her portfolio. Over the next 10 years, she accumulates another 20 properties, taking her income to £4,500 per month, supposing she only gets £150 per property. So Laura does have a mortgage on her own home, and that will be paid off around the age of 65 because she chose to invest in assets before a liability. So she still has that expense of £1,000 a month. But she retired from her job at 50 because her property income gave her more than enough and allowed her to save £2,000 per month every 10 years. No, for 10 years, not every 10 years, for 10 years. So her £240,000 in savings brings her total income for the next 30 years to £5,166 per month without her pension. Is Laura wealthy? Well, she's not had to work for as many years, so she's much wealthier in time and memories. Got to think about that. Plus, she has a much larger income to enjoy in her golden years. So I would say yes. Not to mention the fact that she has 30 properties that she can now sell for a profit because of the increase in prices. The numbers in these scenarios may not be exact, and there are plenty of factors that have not been considered, and there are also lots of other ways that Laura and Jane could have accumulated assets, but I'm sure you get my drift. If your home is your biggest asset, then you are in serious trouble. How about that, eh? So that was from Miss Moneybags, one of the more recent books that I purchased, and I've got some as well that I'm reading right now, and this is my longest life ever. But I just wanted to share with you some of the books that I've bought for myself over the years and that have, contributed in one way or another to either further my interest in personal finance, sort of setting me down this path of wanting to help as many women as possible know how to budget and how to take control of their finances in that way. If you're gonna buy any of them, let me know. Any of them piqued your interest. I want to know as well. Like I said, what was the first book that you bought for yourself, and what's your favorite book as well? Let's hear that too. Okay, I am going to leave it there. I've been on for half an hour. If you want me to do more books, let me know, because that was more fun than I thought it was going to be. Maybe that's just me having my own fun there. But stay safe, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the week. Look forward to your comments and look after yourselves. We can do this.